So here we have the Aprilia 450 Supermotard, kind of a dual sport bike, but obviously a lot more focused to the track and canyons. So what do we have for adjustability? We have rebound on the forks only at the top of each fork leg. We have compression at the bottom of each fork leg. And the shock is fully adjustable. So we have preload, compression, and rebound. So let's get on to measuring the bike with Dave on it.
Salt Lake Motorsports, your Italian source for Ducati, Aprilia, Bimota in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake Motorsports.
So now with a dual sport bike, what's different is the sag number will be completely off from what you'd expect, because obviously there's a lot more travel in the motorcycle. So looking at free sag, go ahead, drop it. We only have 1/2 inch of free sag on this bike, which is what we'll actually see on most of the Ducatis, so not that bad. Rider on. So here we're looking at about 2.5 inches of sag in the back, which is about right. You're generally looking for about 3 inches. It's a little on the tight side, but again, this is a dual sport bike, so it's going to move a lot. And in general, you want it to be a little on the tight side. So for the weight range, the back's actually set up very well. Now again, depending on your seating position, and I'm actually going to do this twice, because with a dual sport, you're actually supposed to be more up front, but given a traditional seating position like this, we have 8 inches of exposed travel. Now Dave, if you can push all the way up like you would do, even more, that's where you should be. So let's see how much that makes for a difference. And that took away almost 1/4 inch, so just changing your weight bias on the motorcycle will make a difference. So in the front, usually because we have no preload adjustment on dual sport bikes, what we're going to have here, given his weight, is it's a little stiff on the front, but again, that's not a bad thing. Unfortunately, we can't adjust the preload, so our only option is to go in and change the spring or change the spacer on top of the spring and shorten it to soften the spring that's inside up a little bit. So with Haley in a standard seating position, very, very stiff. So go ahead and move forward a little bit for me. Perfect. And that made it even worse. So just moving backwards and forwards on this particular bike, given your riding position, can change the sag immediately. So be conscious of the fact of a bike like this, when you are riding it, canyons or track, you need to be in the front position of the motorcycle, because that's how it's constructed. If you're just commuting around on it, you can sit generally a little bit further back and the sag balance will change, but bear that in mind when you're riding. So I don't expect to see very much sag here at all. In fact, it's a 1 inch more travel she has available sitting on the bike, even in the correct position. So we definitely would have to go into this and change the fork springs out and soften it up for a 130-pound rider. Now with Chris on the bike, we'll start him in the correct seating position and see what we get. So almost 3 inches of sag in the back. So it's not bad. So Chris, if you move back to a more relaxed seating position. And we gain another 1/2 inch, so 3.5 inches. So that's obviously going to make a massive change for someone 200 or more if they're moving their weight backwards and forwards. That would definitely change the way in which the motorcycle works, because you would at will change the center of gravity of the bike too, depending on where you're at and where you're sat, so the riding characteristics would change accordingly. Now with them in that relaxed seating position, we're at 8 inches of travel available, so go ahead and move all the way up. And there we lost a 1 inch. So you can see visually how that's going to change, especially for someone when you get over 200, how the motorcycle is going to change in handling characteristics, depending even on something simple on where you sit.